Hockey this morning, and I suspect you know why. But here for a special edition of Good Morning America. Dana?
Well, good morning, Charlie. Good morning, America. Here in New York, I'm Dana King, in for Joan London. It is Monday, April the 19th.
And as you well know by now, it was 2 days ago that the federal jury handed down its verdicts in the Rodney King civil rights trial. And this morning, we're going to have the first television interview with one of those jurors. We will go through the Rodney King beating tape one more time, but this time, watching that tape through the eyes of a juror and learn how those 12 men and women reached their unanimous decisions. Meanwhile, Bill Evans this morning, in for Spencer, has the weather for the nation. Bill?
Good morning, Charlie. Today, thunderstorms are going to produce dangerous weather in the plains and in the Midwestern states. Numerous tornadoes possible there. There's already thunderstorm watches and warnings that have been posted through Iowa and Missouri, now moving into Illinois. There'll be golf ball size hail, there'll be gusty winds, there'll be torrents of rain, probably producing as much rain as about an inch or two per hour in that area. And not to mention there'll be dangerous lightning, tornadoes throughout that area. It's this time of the year when it's spring, the weather's very volatile. That'll be a situation in that portion of the country where it'll be really nasty.
All right. We're also going to have more reaction to the LA police trial. We'll talk with the defense attorneys, those that won, those that lost. But we're going to go to Aaron Brown now with the news.
Dana, thank you. Good morning again, everyone. There is every appearance that the standoff outside of Waco, Texas, may be about to end. Federal tanks moved onto the grounds of the Branch Davidian compound early this morning. A number of holes have been ripped into the side of the main building there. Reporters near the compound, and they're a fair distance back, say they have heard some popping sounds coming from the compound. That report was several hours ago, perhaps an hour and a half ago. This is the 51st day of the standoff. Cindy Wall-Morrison of our Oklahoma City affiliate, KOCO, is covering the story, and she joins us now from Waco. Cindy, let's talk about what we know and what we don't. Has anyone come out of the building?
As far as we know, we have not seen any of the Davidians leaving the building. The only activity we've seen, ambulances coming in. We've also heard those popping sounds, and at least 5 gaping holes are in the side of the compound. Very aggressive action by the FBI in the last 3 hours, putting those holes in the side of the compound. Other than that, at this time, that's all we know.
Okay, we heard a report that that perhaps gas had been fired into the building. Can you confirm that?
No, I cannot, Aaron. There's a lot of speculation around here. We've heard everything from gas to a lot of other rumors, and at this time, we're just not getting any confirmation from the FBI and ATF. We have been on the phone with both, and they will not confirm that. Hopefully, at this morning's 10:30 press conference, 10:30 Central Time, we will get some of those answers, and we'll be sure to fill you in on them.
All right. Do you know if the local hospital has been alerted one way or another?
I'm sure they have, Aaron.
Okay.
I've been here since the beginning, and yes, they have been on alert off and on since this standoff began.
Cindy, thanks. Thank you very much, and we'll check back with you. I would add just a couple of things here. One is that there are 17 children among the 95 people who officials believe are still in the building, 17 children, which in part explains the patience of officials. In other news this morning, the African National Congress has declared this a national day of mourning in South Africa. They are mourning Chris Hani, the black activist leader who was killed in South Africa 9 days ago. There has been considerable violence since. There is concern that there will be more violence at the funeral services today. There was no violence inside the service. There was some outside. Here's ABC's Nathan Thomas.
Although black leader Chris Hani wanted peace for South Africa, his funeral this morning has become a flashpoint for increased violence. Young blacks unable to get into the packed stadium started stoning police vehicles. Police responded with tear gas and buckshot. Cars were set on fire near the stadium. Earlier today, a grenade was thrown at an office of the Conservative political party, one of whose leaders has been linked to Hani's assassination. Inside the stadium, the funeral itself has been peaceful, but more trouble is expected when the body is taken to the predominantly white community of Boksburg, where Hani lived and is to be buried. Whites in the area are concerned that emotional mourners may turn violent and attack them.
I think people are really scared and worried more than anything else.
Armed whites are standing openly along the funeral route. Others are watching from behind the walls and razor wires surrounding their homes. Both black and white leaders have called for peace and say that negotiations for a new government in South Africa will continue. But if the death of Chris Hani is the beginning of another wave of violence, negotiators on both sides will find their job much more difficult. Nathan Thomas, ABC News, Johannesburg.
In Los Angeles, it is as if a city is waking up after a very bad dream. Things are so calm, the National Guard troops who were sent in last week as a precaution are now being sent home. And in South Central Los Angeles yesterday, celebrations of Saturday's split verdict in the Rodney King beating case. 2,500 people celebrating at the First AME Church. And celebrations, too, in Koreatown, a parade there yesterday. Some of the victims of last year's rioting celebrating the peace this time. And a reminder that you can hear one of the jurors explain how the jury arrived at its decision to convict 2 officers, acquit the others. A juror's view of the tape as well in an exclusive interview coming up in a few moments right here on Good Morning America. And finally, Congress's spring vacation is over. The White House and Senate Republicans are resuming their battle over the president's economic stimulus package. But the way things look now in the Senate, the plan is in just as much trouble as it was 2 weeks ago. Here's ABC Sheila Cast.
There's no evidence President Clinton's offer to cut his stimulus package by 1/4 has persuaded even one Republican to defect from the filibuster that has kept the bill from coming to a Senate vote.
This is not just a matter of fine-tuning or trying to reach some very finely arranged compromise. This is a matter of basic principle.
Arguing that the jobs bill is crucial to summer calm, civil rights leaders plan political pressure.
I have a list of the key people who are now filibustering. We're going to go after them. We think it's wrong. We think it's immoral. And the weight of the NAACP going this week is going to be on the side of getting this bill through Congress.
Republicans say they're not worried. At town meetings during their spring break, they say constituents showed little support for the bill. And they get comfort from recent polls that show Mr. Clinton's job approval rating has dropped.
This is a political effort intended to embarrass and defeat the president.
Republicans deny that's their motive, but clearly do hope the strategy they used in this battle will give them more clout in other debates coming soon, like health care reform or campaign financing.
We'd like to be players. We are in the minority, but that doesn't mean we don't have some influence.
Quite likely enough influence to hand Mr. Clinton his first big legislative defeat. Sheila Cast, ABC News on Capitol Hill.
And that's the top of the news this morning. Dana and Bill.
You owe me that, but it's Aaron with an A, correct?
Aaron with 2 A's.
Oh, all right. Thank you. We'll talk to you in a moment.
Thank you.
And this is Bill Evans. He's in for Spencer.
Yes.
All right. You've got a busy day ahead of you.
Yes. The East is good, the West is good, but the Central Plains, boy, is this a mess. Let's look outside and we'll get a look at what's going on today. There's a big low-level storm system. It's a big spring storm. It's going to work its way across the plains today. It's working with an upper-level disturbance that's coming out of New Mexico to
The hour. And right now, we're going to take you inside the jury room of the Rodney King civil rights trial, inside the deliberations. Because joining us now here in Los Angeles for his first television interview is one of the 12 jurors. And he asked us to keep his identity a secret, which we have certainly agreed to do. And so we'll refer to him only as juror number 11, and electronically we will jumble his face a little bit and cover it up so that people cannot see you, and we can maintain the anonymity. But I appreciate your joining us.
Thank you.
Let me ask you about what went on in the jury room, because this verdict really was watched on 2 levels. One, obviously, the trial itself. The second, what this could do to the city of Los Angeles. Did you talk about both levels?
No, we never talked about what would happen on our side. After we had been together for 2 or 3 weeks, we almost forgot that there was an outside. It was like being on a cruise liner. We went to court, went to the hotel. Every weekend we went on an outing. We went deep sea fishing. We went to Universal City and our studio, and it was like a mini vacation, like going to camp.
And obviously during that time, while the trial is going on, you are admonished not to talk about the proceedings.
Yes.
But when you got in the jury room, no discussion of the fact that this verdict could have really some dire implications on the city of Los Angeles?
No, there was not. I don't know what was in people's mind, but we never discussed that.
What was in your mind?
Well, when we got in jury room, I almost had made up my mind what I was going to vote, but it didn't turn out that way because the evidence wasn't there.
Well, I'll talk to you about that, but was in your mind, was the fact that this verdict could have an effect on Los Angeles, was that there?
Not really. I had already made up my mind that it doesn't matter, whatever happened, I was going to do the right thing, the way the evidence was, and go with that. If
Because we're going to talk to some of the defense attorneys in a few moments, and they're going to say, I know because I've talked to them, that they feel that the implications for Los Angeles had to weigh on your mind.
No, it didn't.
Really?
It didn't, not at all.
Tell me generally about the deliberations. When you got in there, you got the case weekend before this past weekend.
Yeah.
Did you start right away discussing guilt or innocence? What happened?
No, the first thing we did was select a jury foreman. And then we talked about all day how we were going to do it. And we agreed to take the basic first. We went to each separate witness, one by one. We went to all the evidence, one by one, and that took about 3 days.
So you really went back in chronological order over the trial?
Yes, one by one. And we did it, and then we threw some of the witness out to kind of condense it a bit, instead of having all those enormous amount of evidence. So we got rid of a lot of the witness.
Basically said you'd discount some of the witnesses?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. How much did you rely on the tape?
That was the 80%.
80%?
Absolutely.
Really?
Everything was, we tried to fit everything to the tape. And the tape was played at least 10 times every day.
You had a copy of the tape in the jury room?
We had a copy, and we could play it in slow motion. We could play it frame by frame on 6%, and we could play it forward, backwards, and stop it and talk about it.
But we have the tape, and we've slowed it down ourselves, about 25%.
Yeah.
And I want to show it to you here on the monitor, and I want you to talk to me about it as you see it. Let me stop it right, let me keep it going for a minute, but there is a time right at the beginning where Rodney King gets up. And the defense argued all the way through that his getting up really was what scared the police, and as they said, put Rodney King in control.
Yeah.
Your feeling about that?
No. After a while, when we went over the tape, we agreed that King was not trying to get up. He was rolling with the punches. When somebody gets beaten like that, he was rolling around, getting away from the punches. We do say he's in pain. A couple of times you can see him grabbing his leg like he is in pain. So he was rolling with the punches. Right there, I can see why he don't move more than he does. This is really what's convicted Powell. The next punch come out where he hit him in the chest.
This is what convicted Powell, you say?
Yes, after, that was one of the...
The fact that he was delivering so many of the blows.
Right there, that is, some of the women was almost disgusting about it. To seeing that, there was no reason for that.
Was there a point in this tape, Mr. Juror, when you felt that reasonable force had turned to excessive force?
In the beginning there were, but there was always the question, what happened before the tape? A lot of jurors felt that he was provoked to get up first time and try to run.
So he said in his testimony that they had said, you better get up and run.
Yes, and a lot of jurors was thinking about that because what we understood that the first time he was tased, he was on the ground. That's what a lot of the jurors believed because...
When you say tased, you mean hit with that stun gun?
Yeah, stun gun, yes.
All right.
Yes.
I want to ask you about how you approached each one of the four defendants, and we'll go through them in order. We're going to take a commercial break and come back speaking with juror number 11 here with us in Los Angeles when Good Morning America continues on ABC. By witness. When did you take your first vote?
That was April the 15th at 9 in the morning.
That would have been Thursday then?
Yes.
So really, within 2 days, you reached all the verdicts, Thursday and Friday?
Well, we started on Saturday. We worked about 4 hours on Saturday.
But you actually did the verdicts in 2 days. You started voting Thursday, and then you'd finished on Friday evening, right?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Which defendant did you look at first?
We started at Powell first.
The man who delivered the most of the blows. Was that difficult or easy?
It was difficult for a lot of people. I had a strong opinion about Powell, so it wasn't so difficult for me.
Your opinion was?
Guilty.
Was there much discussion on Powell?
Yes, a lot. And the first blow there, we even acted that out. I pretended to be King and went through the motion and stood like the tape were, and somebody followed through with the baton. And we all agreed on that the blow could not have hit the chest because On the tape in slow motion, we do see the follow-through of the baton going by. So if he hit inside on the arm, there would have been a collision. So there was a follow-through, and the only way you can follow through with the arm up, if he hit him any place, it would have been the head.
So you think he intentionally hit him in the head, and that was the jury's...
Not really intentionally. We believe that he was just going to hit him, and he didn't care where, just knock him down, just whack him one when he come up.
All right, so you then decided on the guilt of Officer Powell.
Yes.
You turned next to...
Wynn.
To Officer Wind, who was acquitted.
Yes.
Was that an easy one to reach?
No. He took almost as much discussion as Powell. But it came down to the point where we had to follow instruction. There was doubt.
There was doubt.
Reasonable doubt.
He was a probationary officer, an officer in training under
absolutely.
Officer Powell.
Yeah.
Did that have any effect on your decision to acquit him?
Because we couldn't, maybe he was just following his, Powell was his training officer. Maybe he was just jumping in, following him, so that was the good thing. So we could not really prove the intent. Mm-hmm. And if you can't prove the intent, he's not guilty.
Did you want to convict Officer Wind, or were you?
I was one of them that felt that way in the beginning, but later when we went through the whole thing, I couldn't do it because I had to follow the instruction. I have to, when I was sworn in, that was it.
Which officer did you look at next?
Bassino.
Briseño?
Yeah.
And how about that decision? Not guilty?
That was not guilty. That was pretty easy because there was something that was not brought up in the trial. When Bassino blocked Powell's with the hand, right before that, he also blocked with his right hand Wind coming in. Mm-hmm. And it was never brought up in the trial. Maybe he did on purpose, I don't know, but we saw that.
So you think Officer Briseño acted in a laudatory manner?
Well, a lot of the stuff he said in his testimony, it did fit the tape where everybody else didn't fit in.
And then Sergeant Kuhn, who you also convicted, who basically said it was his responsibility as the officer in charge.
Yes. And
do you think it was a mistake for him to so testify?
Yes, I think so. It was a mistake. I was surprised. I know how I felt when he testified, but I would say all the jurors felt that he was really arrogant. He believed he would say anything to fit the situation at the time.
Mm. Now, he was saying, of course, I was responsible, but we stayed within proper procedures for bringing a suspect under control.
He did not give King any chance to get in the right position that you were talking about, not at all.
There was some word that there was rancor among some of the jurors. Was there argument?
Rancor.
Was there difficulties between any of the jurors? Were there arguments?
Yes, absolutely.
Did they get heated?
Yes, really heated.
Over what?
There was Tuesday. It got so heated in there that one of the jurors had to get out of the room. On the news, I understood later, he said one of the jurors got sick. No, he couldn't take it in there.
It just got too intense.
It got so heated, screaming, yelling at each other, and almost to the point where I felt I had to get in between people.
Really?
Yeah. And then next day, everybody were hugging and kissing each other and crying, so... Yeah,
the jury came together at the end.
Yes, it seems like we needed that day. After that, everything was running smooth, and we got a lot of work done.
Well, you're all to be congratulated. It is a marvelous civic duty that you all perform, and I thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I thank you for having me.
And Good Morning America will continue. Stay with us.
This is your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude of 31,000 feet. And in a moment, the flight attendants will begin serving lunch and...
Captain, we forgot the Colombian coffee.
"100% Colombian coffee, handpicked by Juan Valdez. It's the richest coffee in the world."
In art, taste is subjective, but in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food, exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
How do you add rich, full flavor with no fat, no cholesterol, and very little sodium? The original way. Lee and Perrins, the original Worcestershire.
Of all the ways you can furnish your home, one of the most beautiful ways is with Anderson feature windows and patio doors.
helm in Los Angeles. I asked Chief Williams what his philosophy was as L.A. prepared for a verdict.
My philosophy is that I wanted to have an atmosphere in the city where the men and women who live in our communities were willing to and wanted to accept increased uniform visibility.
What was your greatest fear as the verdict came closer?
Oh, I don't know if I didn't really have a fear. I mean, really, when I think about it today, and I thought about it last night, I didn't have a fear because I think we planned. We were prepared to deal with any response. I think that my greatest pleasure was that we sat around most of the afternoon very bored.
What do you think the message of the verdict was to that rank and file, to the men and women in the squad cars at 3 in the morning?
It was a somber message. It was a message that police work is a difficult job. Yes, you're called upon to make split decisions, but in making those decisions, you have to draw upon all your training, or draw upon your supervision, draw upon your leadership, but also draw upon the recognition that we are accountable for our actions. That if we make mistakes while we're doing things, depending upon the degree of that mistake and the severity of that mistake, that will be considered. But we also have to understand that as police officers, we're not above the law. Mistakes cannot be just moved aside. And that we are accountable internally in the organization, and we are accountable to the public through the judicial process. I do not believe it will make officers more cautious to the point where they'll stop doing their job.
There are people in this department that feel very strongly that Kuhn and Powell should not have been found guilty.
I know that. I have to accept that those feelings are going to exist, and we'll go on beyond that. That's where professionalism and the command, professionalism and supervision and professionalism in the rank and file will have to come into play.
There is relative calm, relative peace on the streets of Los Angeles right now. How can you help restore peace of mind to the people in this town?
I think we have to say to the citizens that now your police departments in this city and this county have shown you that to a great degree we are prepared to respond and support you in times of crisis. And we had to actually get through this to return that view after what happened last year. We have also said to our men and women in this organization that you will get the support that you need from the community to do the job that's necessary. And I think the men and women have seen this. And the city has to see that every time one of these crises peak, that we're not going to have a riot, that we meet in the boardrooms and on the sidewalks and we talk about it rather than wrestling around in the streets.
What message do you want people and the rest of the country to know about Los Angeles or to see from this?
My message to the rest of the United States is that Los Angeles is not a war zone. I mean, Los Angeles is not a city where people are fighting each other and afraid of each other. It's not that violent city ready to fall off into the Pacific. You have seen some of the greatest critics of the police department walk into this office and sit down and talk with the chief and plan how to go beyond tomorrow. That's the message that we would like the United States of America to see is going on in Los Angeles. And if it can work here, think about doing the same thing in those other cities where your crisis is upon you now or your crisis is going to come tomorrow.
But this verdict over the weekend was just one hurdle. There are still many to come. The Reginald Denny trial, which will come up in just a couple of months. And this is a city with lots and lots of problems. Willie Williams' bigger jobs may still be ahead. Paula?
Thanks, Harry. 23 minutes before the hour. Next on CBS This Morning, the attorney for one of the 2 acquitted officers, Timothy Wynn. That coming up.
She finished school and moved back home. Will you be close now that she's all grown? Folger's starting to brew. Was she up ahead of you?
The remarkable aroma of mountain-grown Folgers. It really does open your eyes.
Now you see her in a different way. It's the start of a brand new day.
You're pretty good at this. Yes, I do take after you.
Best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
2 coffees and a sweet and low.
And now what? They want a coffee and a sweet and a low.
They're never gonna leave.
I fix it. Hey.
clogged breathing tubes fast when speed counts. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
Who's working to make sure that all babies grow up to be healthy kids? Please, join our campaign for healthier babies.